Hello, and for today we'll be doing 13th Age. 13th Age is a D20 based game, medieval fantasy, but it differs a bit in how they treat some aspects of the D20 system. It is very familiar if you've played Dungeons and Dragons to that particular system, but there's a few differences. One of the biggest things is that your character is somehow unique to everybody else in the world. You have one unique thing that sets them apart. A couple of other key differences is that in many systems, especially Dungeons and Dragons, they use a 9-grid alignment system. And 13th Age does something different. They use icons and your relationship with key icons to display and get a feel for your character's morality and their alignment. Where do they sit? How do they see and perceive the world? The other major difference is where a lot of D20 systems have skills, a hard, fast list of skills that you use to determine your character, what your character can do or not do. 13th Age uses backgrounds. And think of backgrounds as a much broader topic than a particular skill. And what this does is allows multiple skills to roll up under one single background. And it creates a much more interesting character because you can use the backgrounds to also help explain and describe your character's history and their past and where they've been. Beyond that, it's very similar to any other D20 system of how things work. In combat, you may see me holding up a particular die here, a very big D6. And this is our escalation die. And as we go through combat, that escalation die will come out. And each round of combat, starting with the second round, this die will increase in the number that we'll be using. And that number gets added into your 2-hit number, into your 2-hit rating. And that means as combat progresses, it'll become a bit easier and a bit easier to hit your characters or your opponents. So it could be other characters. Also within 13th Age, it was created by a couple of designers who also worked on 4th Ed D&D. And one of the things that they wanted to do is create the game they always wanted to play. 4th Ed D&D isn't bad. It's not a bad system, and neither is 5th Ed D&D. But 13th Age, they wanted to bring in aspects of other systems that they'd looked at and played and enjoyed. And as a part of that, they got rid of some of the minutiae that tends to happen with D&D, things such as distance. When you're having to measure at a distance of how far a spell's impact is, or how far you can hit with a weapon, such as a bow and arrow or something. And instead, we're going to treat this differently. there'll be basically two ranges. There'll be melee range, a close range, and there'll be ranged or your distance ranged. And we're going to treat things a bit more open in that way, a bit more fluid. They also shifted a bit more with some other things. They want you to fail forward. They want to encourage the telling of a rich and interesting story. And the system does great for those who enjoy wanting to look more at the characterization and history of a character and the interweaving of a story rather than necessarily playing numbers games. And for tonight, we have a fun adventure set up within the Dragon Empire, which is the default world of 13th Age. And for today, our story takes place in space between Twisp Borough and Old Town, not far from Concord and not far from where the court of the Elf Queen is located. And given the time of year, it is getting toward the end of harvest or start of harvest season, and like anything, people enjoy a good reason to have fun and have a fair. Our story takes place not far from Concord, nestled between some smaller towns at a fair. And each of you have arrived at the fair for some reason or another. Whether you're looking for adventure, maybe you live in the area, maybe you've just finished something, or you might be contracted for some other reason. Whatever it is, you are at the fair. There's all sorts of things going on at the fair. There are merchants hawking wares, everything from you have bakers and various artisans selling pastries and food to all sorts of just goods. Looking for a new shirt, you could probably find something. If you're looking for something else, looking for a new weapon, you might be able to find something. Looking for the services of someone, say a locksmith or someone to help with less savory tasks, might be able to find them there too. Adventurers come here to make connections and potentially line up new contracts. Merchants come here to buy and sell and make contracts and well. So fairs are huge. They're not just a festive location. They're also a spot and a time when business deals happen. And each of you have ended up out at this fair. Feel free to go ahead and just start role playing. I'm talking amongst yourselves. Feel free to describe where your character's at. I want to leave enough space for you as the players to describe a bit about the fair and where your character's at and what they're thinking at, looking at, and doing.
So my character, Tennille, is trying to keep a low profile at the moment, but is unable to resist the gambling that sometimes occurs on the fringes of these fairs. And so Tennille is currently sort of hunched in a mossy area, betting what little money she has left on a snail race.
Okay.
So my character, Lev, she is here to take part in the archery tournament.
Awesome.
she's gonna show everyone else how it's done.
Awesome.
Namori is here to just kind of find whatever he can do that's going to make him look great. Basically, I want to find something that I can win at, just so I have a story about how I wanted something. So it might be something I don't even know how to do, maybe like archery, or maybe I'm going to one of those things that you hit to ping all the way up.
Okay.
Test my strength.
Grug he's looking for a new sword and for maybe some new recruits for his pirate crew.
Okay. So you're about snail race. It's a snail race. It's going to take a while for those snails to get around that circuit. But your character, being how they are you going to try to stack things in your favor or do anything underhanded during the snail race?
Yeah, I think maybe she's got like palmed some extra coarse salt, and she's just going to see if she can like flick a kernel onto one of the opposing snails. It's a real nail biter of a race.
Okay. We'll go ahead and go with your kind of cheating and gambler extraordinaire. And we'll use dexterity with that. Go ahead and roll a d20 and add that on in.
So my dexterity is, get my character sheet back open. So my dexterity is 1 and my cheating is 2. So that would be a 10. Am I right?
Yep, that's a 10. Okay. So, okay, so you try, but the bit of salt that you flick out hoping to hit the one snail goes wide and ends up in the grass.
Story of my life.
Someone kind of looks and goes, "What was that?" You don't quite know if it was spotted or not, but
I scratch at the hair that's kind of caught up in my eye patch, and I say, sorry, I have lice. And I flick some.
Okay. So we have our shifty sorcerer who's been handled. Lev.
Yes.
You want to head off to the archery tournament.
Yes.
And lucky for you, there is a range there. There's an archery range, and there are people who are testing their skill out by shooting at the archery butts. They've got targets set up. So would you like to do some shooting there at the targets and see what you can get?
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome. Okay. So, for this, let's see here. We're going to go, well, your town fair range champion, of course, for your background. And for your, let's see here. Oh, they're not moving. We're gonna go strength. For your stat. So your background and your stat with a d20.
Ooh.
Nice.
21.
Nice. So you step up, you let them know, I'd like to do this, and they take your name and then call you, and you step up and confidently you pull the arrow out, bring it back and release. And let the arrow fly, and you hit it right just out of the bullseye. Really close though. And You're given a few shots, and each shot is right there. Your last one finally ends bullseye. And people look at you like, oh my gosh, like people there have been some decent archers, but no one has like been hugging, basically creating this like pattern around the bullseye with one in the middle. It's not quite, everything in the bullseye, but people are impressed. You're shooting well.
And I'm just like really confident, like, yeah, I know.
Okay. So next we have Nemori. And Nemori is going to try to figure out, they're wandering around figuring out what they want to do. Let's see here. Well, there's any number of things you could try. Here there's like wrestling tournaments. A lot of the farmers and the farm kids will kind of do wrestling out there. They've got stuff such as hay bucking. How fast can you stack the hay? And contests like that. They have contested arms for the adventurers and such that come in looking to secure contracts. Anything in particular that's catching your eye that you want to try your hand at?
Could I have seen Lev do what she just did and then decide, even though I don't think I'm really that great with the bow and arrow, I have my crossbow, yes, but I now want to one up her because that was just too good. So I have to be better. And what a story that'll be.
You're welcome to. Yeah, you watch it. Yeah, they announced Lev, this Wood Elf Ranger stepping up, and you watch, and you're like, dang, and you're like, yeah, go for it. You walk up, you say, I'd like to give this a try, and they set you up. You're sighting down your crossbow down to a target. So for yours, let's go with your former kind of smuggler, thief, shady stuff, because you got to deal with stuff that way. So we'll use that for your skill and background. We'll go. Let's go with your strength.
Strength. Okay.
Yeah, so you got to be able to pull back and cock that crossbow, and then have the strength to pull the trigger. Targets aren't moving, so you can't go with. I'm like, Dex doesn't make sense. Targets aren't moving; they're stationary targets.
Oh gosh, I don't know where to see where the roll came through. I am so sorry.
All good. So, if you go to across the top, you have what looks like the speech bubble. This chat. And yep.
Okay.
So, yep.
So I got a grand total of 6.
So you confidently step up. You pull out a few quarrels, stick a couple down on the grass. We can grab them and set them up, and you loose your first, and it twangs at the edge of one, and you kind of pull up another quarrel. Prep your crossbow, set it in, sight down it, release it, and the quarrel flies, and twang out toward the edge again. And your last one goes twang and into the grass, right in front of the target. Not a complete failure, at least no one got hurt, but definitely not like Lev.
Did anyone else see that bee that was flying near me? No, just me. Okay, it's fine. It's fine.
Okay, and Grug is wanting to try to find other people for his crew, because he's probably. Did you come up from Did you end up coming up from probably Concord there?
Yeah. Oh, I have. It's the Renaissance kind of fair. Or like the map's not there anymore.
Right. So Concord is a major port city there on the base. So you probably came up from Concord.
Makes sense.
Figured it's it's the closest major city. And of course, you're looking for crew, likely those who are wanting to get away from a very landlocked area and experience some adventure on the high seas.
Mhm.
There's all sorts of individuals there. There's upstanding folk, there's various religious folk there willing to ply their services. Obviously, being a huge thing like this, it's a great time for people to meet and weddings happen. So there's clerics out holding weddings and whatnot. And there's shady folk there trying to lift stuff and steal things and otherwise cause trouble. And I mean, that's a sizable fair. So you can easily find some various individuals. Are you looking for any particular type of individuals?
Hmm. Is there anyone like sorry, I have a doggos in the background and he growls whenever he doesn't get attention. Hey. I don't know. I guess, yeah, kind of, actually, I'd probably notice the archery skills.
Okay, yeah, you definitely,
Yeah.
archery skills. You've got the archery ranges. There's kind of a circular area out there too, where they've got like melee combat going on, and they've got another ring set up where they've got wrestling and unarmed combat, and they've got other spots set up where mages can showcase their skills and do all that.
Okay. Then I would probably go to those areas.
Okay. You definitely see Levin and Neormi's archery prowess being showcased. You definitely see both of them. Again, there's a lot of people. There's a lot of stuff going on. So you've got those two, but there's many others. If you want to try to convince them, I'll let you go ahead and just role play with them. If you want to try to convince others that you've come across, just describe kind of who it is that you spot and see, and we'll take it from there.
I'll probably go up to Lev and what's Jonathan's name?
Nimori.
Namori. You two seem pretty good. Want to join my crew?
What kind of crew?
Pirate crew. We fought
What's
for the
in it for me?
liberation of all.
So
What's in
standing before you is a half-elven, half-orc gentleman, dressed clearly, likely as, well, kind of pirate captain-like, very much so, but also clearly wielding weapons, and from how things are situated, would know how to use them.
So, you want to join my crew?
So I mean, I know you probably came over because you saw my amazing archery skills, but that's actually not where my skill set lays. I'm actually a cleric. Do you have need for one?
Probably.
You're not sure?
I mean, people die on the crew. We need people to come back.
I think I gotta think on that one. Thank you, though. I just like kind of look at Lev and I'm like, yeah.
What about you? Want to join the crew?
What? Where all do you go?
All over. Adventures on the sea.
Yes. didn't see that often.
It's fun.
Can I just like walk up to Lev and just kind of like go like this and be like, I don't think he knows what he's doing. I don't think you want to do this.
I will think about it.
We'll hang out for some slaves. Yeah. Get some riches. Go on adventure.
Make some friends.
Yep. Make some friends.
I will think about it, and you are a very memorable man. I will come and find you after I have some time to think about it.
Do you want to go think about it over a beer? I mean, I have to reward the winner. I might have done amazingly, but I didn't win. I recognize that. So beer?
Yeah, I'll drink a beer.
Okay, let's
Beer?
Okay.
go. So, sure.
Okay. So you've got this lovely interaction between this half elf, half orc pirate fighter, and talking with a couple of the skilled bowmen there. Meanwhile, out in the fringes, in the grass, there's a snail race going on. And let's see what happens with the snail race. Okay. Let's do. Okay. So snail race is going on, and Danielle is there trying to urge on their snail. And are you going to try to do anything else before this particular race finishes up?
At the moment, does it look like my snail's going to lose?
No, it actually looks like they're going to win.
Okay, then I'm going to play it safe. I'm just going to cheer on my snail. And I've got lots of enthusiasm, the enthusiasm of someone who has lost most of their money to gambling.
Okay. Okay, so you cheer on, and in short order, your snail crosses the finish line, slimes across the finish line, before the next couple of snails, and the rest of the people, their snails kind of ended up drifting off to somewhere in the weeds. Sidetracked snails, but yours made it around, and you come in first. And as such, you then take about gathering your winnings from the rest of the folk who were betting on the snail race. And let's see here. And for that, you'll end up with, let's see here, 30 gold.
In a fashion that often gets me in trouble, I'm something of a poor sport about it, chortling at others over my grand victory. And when I sense that the mood is turning, I take my winnings and scamper off, looking for somewhere to go drink.
There are plenty of spots to go drink. There's kind of open air taverns, scattered throughout. There's so many people here that there have to be a few different eating establishments in order to service those who have come and who need a meal and or a drink. You end up finding a spot called the One-Eyed Troll.
I sidle up to whoever is serving the alcohol, and I ask if I can get a discount because I also have one eye, and I lift my eye patch to show my injury.
Are you going to try to persuade them, sweet talk them?
Yes, I would love to.
Okay. Let's use your kind of cheating gambler extraordinaire. Pull on your sweet talk ability there with charisma.
Okay. All right, I got a 19 total.
Okay. They look at you. They look at your missing eye. And consider the request. They kind of go, maybe. But who are you?
I almost say who I am. And then I remember that I'm trying to lay low and I say, no one of importance.
So why should I give you a discount?
Touche. Well spotted. You are clearly a clever bartender. Perhaps a bartender deserving a generous tip from my recent winnings. Perhaps I could offer you a little remuneration for a discount while I spend the rest of my winnings here. You don't have to tell anybody.
Oh, true that. Well, normally it would good old pitcher of beer here would be 3 gold, but I'll give it to you for how about 2?
All right. I pay the money and I slip that extra third gold that should have gone to the house to the bartender, and I tell him I'll be collecting some more discount pitchers here in a few minutes.
He gives you a wink, takes the money, and deposits it under the counter somewhere. You will now have a pitcher of beer and kind of a stain or a mug for it. Where you were at isn't too far from where you're at now isn't too far from where Zug and Lev and Nemori are. And you might have caught at least a bit of the last part of the exchange with Zug trying to get them on his pirate crew. The rest of you, if you care to look around, will eventually see a dark elven sorcerer wearing an eye patch, sitting not far away from very kind of unremarkable person, but there's some people sitting around drinking, but this is one person with this huge pitcher of beer pouring himself a pint and probably downing it and going for another pint and just like beer heaven.
Hey, are you a pirate?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You want to join my crew? You already got half the look going.
Just gonna try and drink my beer in peace, neighbor.
Come on, it'll be fun.
I just sort of look at Lev and Nemori as if to silently ask, are you with this person?
I just whisper kind of loudly, blink twice if you need help.
You seem like you can drink too, so that's good. There's a lot of parties on the boat.
I start drinking faster.
I whisper to Lev, I don't think he has a boat. I don't think there's a boat.
I have no idea what's going on right now.
But do you just want to go rescue the other stranger? Our
Come on.
new
I'll
friend
buy you
is
a little beer.
adjusting?
We'll talk about joining the crew. We'll drink a beer.
I get up and I walk over to Neil. Did I say that right? To Neil. And I just clap her on the back and say, "Hey, we were waiting for you. Come on over." Just
He immediately just slips an arm around that shoulder, and it's like, I've been waiting all day. Thank you so much.
and I slowly whisper, I'm like, "We can't get rid of Grug, but at least you won't be alone. Come on." I bring her back to the table that Lev and I were sitting at.
Okay.
And I'm probably going to be standing and kind of like constantly moving, not big gestures, but just shaking my arms and legs a little bit to make sure they don't get stiff.
Okay. So you're there enjoying this lovely exchange. You start hearing a bit of a commotion distance away. Does anybody want to try to see what's going on?
Absolutely. And I pull my hood up and try to make myself small next to my companions.
Can't be much smaller than me, a dwarf.
Okay, so for those who want to try to see what we've got, let's see here. We'll use. We're gonna go either int or whiz, depending on how you want to use this. If it's a skill where you feel like you've been trained how to spot stuff, we'll use int. Otherwise, you'll use your wisdom. Let's see here. For Grug, if you want to try to make the attempt, let's go with your gladiator, because they need to know how to watch stuff and keep an eye. Or you could go with your pirate captain. If you want to try to suggest a particular background you want to use, feel free to let me know which one you'd like to try with.
Sorry,
Yeah.
go ahead, Krug.
With the roll.
So for the roll, it'd be a D.
Add the points you gave to it, basically, right?
Right. So for this, it'll be adding in, say, I might use wisdom for you, so you add in your wisdom modifier plus either your gladiator or your pirate captain plus your D20 roll.
Okay. I got 19.
Okay. And so we have 19, and let's see here. Nimori, do you want to try to see what's going on?
Absolutely. I'm gonna stand up on the bar stool so I can get some kind of height to see far into the distance.
Okay. Let's see. Which background do you think you'd like to try to use?
Since I might not be able to see what it is, you said we initially heard something.
Yeah, you heard kind of a commotion. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I would like to try and use the fact that I'm from like a farmer background where we had livestock, because I used to have to listen for them in the middle of the night in case, one of the cows was crying or anything like that.
Okay, yeah, go ahead and use that then.
Okay, and am I rolling with my intelligence or wisdom?
For you, let's go and use your intellect because you're pulling on what you know, what you understand.
Okay, I got another whopping 6.
Okay.
I'm too short to see what's going on, and it is too loud to make out anything.
Well, or so you think.
Or so I think.
Or so you think. Okay, so, Teniel, do you want to see if you could figure out what the commotion is or where it's coming from?
Yeah, I'd like to use my criminal on the run background because all commotions are potentially deadly commotions for me.
Yep.
Oh, and I did just about as good as Namori. So my hood's too low, and well, I do only have one eye.
Okay. And Lev, would you like to see if you could suss out what's going on?
Yes. And I think I'll use I have no idea which one would be best.
I would either go with your continually kind of converses and communes with nature because you're kind of getting out in the fringes, or you could go with your ranged champion. Either of those could work.
That's what I was trying to. Well, then let's go with the converses and communes with nature because it's higher.
Well, and in that case, we will go with a.
And that's
Let's see with that one. We'll go with an intellect modifier.
so 18.
Okay. 18. Okay. So, for Nimori and Teniel, you're unable to see or hear much. All you can hear is there's definitely a commotion out somewhere toward the fringe. But what you're starting to see is people are running past you away from the noise. Meanwhile, we have Lev and Grug, who have been able to pick up. You're hearing screams coming from that direction of what sounds to be the word demon and people running away.
I'm gonna take off towards that direction.
Okay. So the rest of you are sitting there, and this pirate fighter, this half-elven, half-orc pirate fighter dude who's been chatting you up suddenly perks up, looks over what's going on, and books it.
Can't leave him alone to die.
Yeah, and there's someone shouting demon, so I'm gonna go too.
To glory?
If we defeat the demon, yes, probably glory.
We're manifesting. We're speaking it into existence. Let's go.
In addition to my own drink, I grab as many abandoned drink handles as possible and continue drinking as I'm following them.
Okay, you're able to grab a couple others. Drink is sloshing out as you're running, but what doesn't slosh out, you work to try to make it slosh in you, and so you chug a bit of one and huck it, and grab the other one and chugging what you can and huck that tankard off. as you're making your way through the fair and away from the people that are running toward you, you all are running the other direction. Now the fairgrounds are held in a larger open clearing. It's fairly grassy around here with rolling hills and fields, but every so often there's a copse of trees that pops up in here or there. You're not far away from where the Elf Queen is and where that woods are. And so like any spot that isn't far away from where there's dense woodland, there's copses of trees here and there and whatnot. And you run a good ways. And you come upon a copse of trees that has largely been logged. There's a few trees still standing, but you can definitely tell where the trees have been cut. There's branches lying around. And amidst that, you see, well, let me just put a few minis out. Get some players placed, and then I'll be switching over to what you see. Okay, so feel free to just role play amongst yourselves while I get your characters placed out on the battle mat.
You got any of that left, Tennille? I think we're going to need it.
I have 2 mugs left, and I sort of slosh half of one on you as I pass it over. And I sort of shout over to Namori, I bet you 20 gold she makes her first shot.
Why would I bet to lose money? Of course she's going to make her first shot. Good try. I'll take that beer. Thank you.
Either of you ever fought a demon before?
Inner demons.
Haven't we all?
I make a habit of going in the other direction, but fortunately for you, I am very drunk.
Okay, so you are running and running. Finally come to this copse of trees. Across the way, you see some look like creatures. You're not seeing anything demon yet. But you're seeing poking through the bramble and branches and where it had been logged out. Bits and pieces of what look like humanoid somethings nosing around, just nosing around the stuff. If you'd like to know any more than that, you're welcome to roll kind of another perception check, again, using the same stats as we did this last time.
It looks like I'm in the front. I'm going to go ahead and roll for that.
Okay.
I did as well, and I got a 12.
9.
Is there what is it, nat ones in this, or is it you still add stuff?
So nat ones do exist, but they work a bit different. Rather than it just being a flat out fail, we're going to do a fail forward. So something's going to happen, but it might not happen in the way you hoped it did.
Okay.
So between my impaired depth perception and my inebriation, I'm just trying not to run into my party. So I'm not going to roll.
Okay. Okay, so we have the couple that they're looking around, trying to see what you can see through the trees, through what bramble and trees and the few branches that are there, and kind of the sticks and stuff. Let's see here. Let's hear that. Oh, okay, Lev. You definitely have an idea what these creatures are. You've seen them out and about, especially out away from the cities and from civilization, where you tend to spend quite a bit of your time. You recognize them as gnolls. There's a couple of gnoll rangers sporting crossbows, and there's looks like a couple of others wielding almost look like primitive spears. The rest of you that are attempting to pay attention, attempting to see, you just see these humanoid figures out there rummaging around through brush, poking at stuff. How noisy are you all?
I'm trying to be as quiet as possible. And once I see their gnolls, I am knocking an arrow to be ready to fire.
Okay.
I don't care about stealthiness. I'm not gonna like. Yeah, I probably won't be like loud, but I'm not gonna. Yeah, I don't care if I make noise.
I would say I'm probably in the same boat as Greg. I'm kind of just walking, not trying to cover too much of my noise, but I am going to turn and whisper to Greg. Maybe you can recruit them for your crew.
And I am not stealthy. After drinking about a half gallon of alcohol and sprinting through the field, I vomit loudly on Namori's boots.
Let it out and go ahead. It's okay.
Okay, and at that, let's look at initiative. So initiative works very much like it does with any other D20. Okay.
I was gonna say you've got this one, Jonathan, but I was wrong.
Genuinely cannot get a good roll today.
So I got a 13.
Okay.
Yeah, 15.
We have Lev has a 13. And who has the what did you end up with, Ryan?
15.
15. Okay. And let's see here. Jacob, what did you have?
I got the same thing as Ryan.
15. Okay, so let's see here.
I got my magic number 6.
Okay,
It's just lots of 6s.
so Tiniel and Grug. Grug, you have a dex of 2. And Tiniel, you have dex. Okay, so Grug will go right before Tiniel. lovely NPCs. Okay. And they okay. That is a 14. Them and okay. There we go. So, um, across the way, okay, across the way. Oh, we need it. We need a bit of something. We need some music for this. Across the way, poking about through the brush, you see one of the crossbowmen, and then the other look up at you. They level their crossbows in your direction. And are going to let off a quarrel. And we have Ranger. So one of the things with 13th Age is in this case, we're going to be grouping like with like. We have a couple of Gnoll Rangers and we have a couple of Gnoll Savages. They're over here on the left of the lower part of the map or mid part of the map. And so what we do with them is we're going to group them together. It makes it quicker and easier, but it also can lead to a much more interesting story. So in this case, we have a couple of our Gnoll Rangers that are going to level their crossbows, and they're going to fire off at, let's see here. Who do we want to pick on? Let's see here. Let's start with I'm going to fire off at Nemori. Okay. Okay, so rolling 20. And that would be a 15.
That does not hit.
Okay, so they go after you and they go wide. There's too much brush between you and them, and the quarrel goes twang into a fallen branch, limb that's got some pieces sticking off, and it goes twang. Okay.
I just go, ha ha, if only they were as good as me.
Okay, Grug, your turn.
You're muted, Ryan.
You're muted.
That's always fun. I'm gonna unsheath my sword and charge into battle. And then I am going to, I guess, yeah, I'll make, do we have moving speed?
So for this, movement movement works a bit different. Unlike a lot of others where you can run so far and do so much. At this point, you're at distance.
Distant.
So it's going to take you a couple of rounds to get up where you can get into melee range with them.
Okay. So yeah, I guess I'll just be like charging forward.
Okay, so what is it, a cutlass? Is that what you have as a cutlass?
Yep. Yes.
Okay. Figures. For
Yeah,
the pirate,
well,
you gotta have a cutlass.
Exactly.
Gotta have it. So, you're welcome to take your character, and you can move them about halfway. So there's a Grug. If you want to, you're welcome to move them on up. Awesome. So Grug, probably like this, swearing off various pirate epitaphs with a cutlass out, running toward them. Fearless pirate. You know what a pirate's favorite letter is, right? You're on mute, Ryan. R? Oh, no. It's the C. The pirate's first love is always the sea. Okay. Teniel.
All right. Can I move and cast a spell, or is it one or the other?
That's going to depend on what you're hoping to cast.
Chaos Bolt, an at-will ranged spell.
Okay, so for that, you're not going to be able to do that while moving,
Okay.
but you can move up a bit and cast it because you're going ranged to ranged. That works.
Okay. So like halfway between me and Grug, like not as far as Grug moved.
Yeah, kind of up where that one stump is.
Okay. So I move and attempt to cast Chaos Bolt at the nearest knoll.
Okay.
And probably not. Let's see here. I would have gotten 11 versus physical defense.
Okay, 11, and you're going for the nearest knoll, one of the
ones with his little pole arm.
yeah, with the spears. Okay, and you just miss. It just misses. You're trying to center it just right. One of them, the one you're going for, is twitches.
Okay. Well, that would just deal 2 damage because that's my level. And that's my turn.
Okay. Okay. 2 damage. So let me make a note on their card. Okay. Next we have Lev.
I'm gonna take a shot at one of the crossbow guys. We'll do the one on the right.
Okay.
With my bow.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So 19.
And you hit.
Okay, so 9 damage.
Nice.
And
9
since I did not
damage.
have a natural even roll, I only shoot once.
There we are. 9 damage.
And then how tall are these stumps of trees?
The stumps are maybe a foot and a half tall. They're not huge. It's clear they're up high enough where men have been able to
Okay.
to saw them down to clear cut that area, but they're not like flush with the ground.
Okay. Can I come and stand on top of this stump here?
Yep.
Or I guess right beside it.
Yep.
My client told me how to. Oh, there. There, now I'm right on top of it. Okay.
Okay. Okay. The couple of looks like spear or polearm wielding gnolls look out at you and shout something in some unintelligible language. From what it sounds like and the way that everyone else is reacting, it probably was some kind of a curse or epitaph or just something. They're shouting something demeaning and null to you. And then they at this point they are just going to they're just going to sit and wait. There's not much they're going to be doing yet. They're essentially basically planting themselves, getting ready for anybody else running up. And Nemori, what do you do?
So the first thing I'm actually going to do is, for context, I am one of three. I'm a triplet, but we are all the same person. I was split at birth, to say simply. So I have a small telepathic connection with my two brothers, and we are always trying to one-up each other. So I am just going to send a little short message saying, fighting 40 gnolls, beat that. And just leave that there. And then out loud, I'm going to say, haha, good job, Lev. My turn. And I'm going to move forward. Probably, can I move like right above where Lev is?
Yeah.
Ooh. How do I move the character, not the map? Select, there we go. Boop, boop, boop. Okay, and then I am going to just do a basic ranged attack at the exact same one that Lev did.
Okay. You're gonna use what, your light crossbow?
Yes.
Cool. Go for it.
Okay. D20. Just as rolling the dice. Okay, a 9 plus 3 is going to be 12. So does a 12 hit?
A 12 misses.
Okay, I still do 0 damage on a miss. So I go, that damn bee again followed us. It has a vendetta.
Maybe one of your other yous sent it after you.
Sorry, my brain didn't process English right there. Can you say that again?
Maybe one of your other yous sent it after you.
Oh, 100%. Levi is a huge issue with me. It's okay. It's okay.
Okay. So the Knoll Rangers shift a bit and now are looking down their bows at Grug. And they've shifted their attention to this cutlass wielding man running at them. And they make an attempted attack. So we end up with Let's see here. 20 against your PD. Actually, your armor class in this case.
Yeah, hit.
And it hits. And they do 8 points of damage. Okay. So the knoll sizes you up, and they release a quarrel, and it hits Grug as he's running up toward them. And it's Grug's turn.
Oh, he's pissed now. It's go time. What do I make it the rest of the way?
I'm gonna say that yeah, you're able to make it up. You're able to get it in within melee range of the spear wielding ones.
Okay. Yeah, and I'm going to make a nice slash my cutlass.
Okay.
That's a 10.
Okay. A 10 total or just a 10 on your roll?
10 on my roll.
Okay, so 10 on your roll.
Oh, no, 10 total, my bad.
Oh, 10 total? Okay. And that misses.
Yeah.
That misses. You swing wide. Something about maybe that quarrel you're sprouting now. Okay. Teniel.
Okay, I am going to try lightning fork. So I'm feeling brave.
Okay.
And let's see if the dice favor me. Nope, they do not. Okay, let's see here. So I would have gotten a 10, which is a miss.
Yep. You miss, but you do half damage. Because on a miss you do half damage. So you were going after the spear?
Yeah, the nearest spear.
Okay.
So rounding down, I do 5 damage.
Okay. The brunt of the bolt misses them, but some of the residual effect as it whizzes past hits them, and they're looking a little bit singed. Okay. Lev.
I'm gonna shoot for the same crossbow one that I shot last time. Oh, 18.
18. That hits.
Okay, so I will do, good gravy, 8 damage. And since I rolled a natural 12, I'm going to loose another arrow and shoot for the other crossbow dude.
Okay.
Right? I'm reading that right, correct?
Yes. So
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I see this and I just go, now you're just showing off.
Well, yeah, and I don't hit with an 8. So the other crossbow dude gets 2 damage.
Okay.
And I say to Namori, Knowles burned my village to the ground. Any shot I can get on them is a good one.
I guess I'll have to start hitting them then.
That would be helpful.
Okay. And that finishes that turn. And so the knoll spearmen up front take a poke at Grug. And there we go. Ooh. That would be a 26.
That's gonna hit.
Okay, and that does 10 points of damage. Okay. They do that, and you see from a distance, you see a spear thrust right in toward Grug. And then Nimori, you are up.
All right. So I can move as far. You can let me know. I want to run up to right where Grug is and say, if I can't hit him from afar, I'm gonna hit him up close.
Now keep in mind, Grug is starting to look pretty beat up.
Grug, how's your HP?
Oh, keep fighting.
Okay. Cool. Question about my heal.
Yes.
When it says the target can use healing and recovery, what does that mean?
Right. So, with recovery, let me make sure I get this worded right for you. Basically, a recovery is your ability to regain your lost hit points. When you take a recovery, you roll 1 die per level and add your con modifier, and that's how many points you regain. And you can do that up to 8 times per day. More often if you're exceptional even for a player character hero. So basically 8 times a day, you can take a recovery, and it's a way to just kind of focus on basically battle tending your wounds. Think of it like doing field dressing type of a thing. It's bandaging yourself up and healing some of that lost hit points.
Okay. I understand the mechanic. So I'm still gonna run up to Grug because it's a close range spell. It's close quarter. So I'm gonna just boop. That's okay. And then I'm gonna cast heal. And I guess I roll my recovery roll for him. Or does he roll his own?
So which one you're gonna use? Just your heal or cure light wounds.
Heal.
Okay, heal. Basically, when you cast that, your target can use a recovery right there to do some healing.
So he uses his.
Yes.
Not mine. Okay.
Yep, they can heal using a recovery. So they go ahead. He can heal his using one of his recoveries, basically right now.
All right. So I heal Grug for whatever Grug tells me I heal him for.
Okay. So for Grug,
It's the 2d10 plus 2, right?
that Yes.
Okay.
Would backgrounds play an effect in this at all?
Does what play an effect?
Backgrounds?
Not with this, no.
Okay.
Got 12 health back. See? We could use a cleric.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, you want to join my crew?
I thought I told you to ask the kobolds. Or not the kobolds, the gnolls. Did you ask them yet?
I mean, they stabbed me.
So you know they're good at fighting.
Hey, you want to join my crew? I say to the gnolls.
They just look at you and look at each other and look back at you. And proceed to have the Rangers look at you. But seeing that there was someone that ran up behind you and started praying, essentially, and you got feeling better, they take their crossbows and they're going to be looking right down them to Nimori. At this point, they're kind of ignoring you because they see Nimori right beyond you, Grug, and they're like, we got more trouble. And let's see here. They do. Let's see here. That is with 22.
Yeah, that definitely hits.
Okay.
I'm going to take that as a no.
And that is 8 damage to Nimori. Okay. Okay, and with that, make sure we have our die here. Okay, we have escalation die. So moving forward now, I did it this last time because it was just a +1, but this next strength, we're in our third round now. You add +2 to your 2 hit. And so each round will be adding a bit more and a bit more, so it'll get a bit easier. So the +2 is in addition to everything else you're adding. So you've got, you have your number on your character sheet for your 2 hit. Basically, you add a +2 to that. Next round, it'll be a +3, etc. Okay. Grug.
I'm going to be like, don't do that to my crewmate. I'm going to like lean into it this time, like really just try to get him, like putting my heart and soul into this attack.
Okay.
Yay, that's going to be a 24.
Oh, you hit.
Yep.
You hit.
8. Oh shit, maybe I should have got some dice out.
I hear him say this and I go, don't hurt your crewmate. Why are you hurting them then? Just like slowly, I'm like, look back.
To find my friends. 12 damage.
12 damage. Okay. Let's see here. So you do have some special attacks. When you made your roll, was it a natural, even, or odd?
Even.
Okay. So -12. So even, you can do a special attack, which is On any natural even hit, re-roll any ones from your damage roll. You're stuck with the re-rolls. So if you rolled any ones, I mean, you have deadly assault. It doesn't sound like you had any ones though with hitting with a 12.
No.
Okay, so you reach out and you slash, and you hear a yelp from one of them as your cutlass bites into like his upper arm. Okay. You have a rather pissed off Knoll, too. Okay. Next we have Teniel.
I'm going to try and launch a chaos bolt at that same critter.
Okay. Remember you get to add a +2 to your attack.
Yeah. Okay, so I got a 24.
That hits.
Right. Unfortunately, it was not even, but I'm going to roll my damage here. And it comes out 8.
Okay. So your bolt darts across and slams into like upper chest of this one, and it phases him. And you start smelling burned Knoll.
I shout out, Namori, according to Orcish custom, if you heal a pirate, you join their crew.
Good thing I'm not an orc.
Okay. Next we have Lev.
Okay, so I didn't do something last time.
Mhm.
What is our chaos die at?
The
Is it
escalation.
2 or escalation dice? That's what I
Yes,
meant.
we are at 2 right now.
Okay, so I roll any dice, correct?
For
The Elven Grace. Roll a die to see if you get an extra standard attack.
yep,
Your roll is okay. So I'll just roll a 6.
I
Ooh,
would-
a 1.
okay.
So equal to or lower than. So then I get an extra attack, correct? Right? Am I reading that
yes.
correctly?
After rolling 2, you know, like yes.
Okay,
So
perfect. So I could potentially end up with 3 attacks if this first one is even.
correct.
Not even.
Oh.
Okay. So 19.
Okay, and you're shooting at the rangers in
Oh.
the back?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
That hits.
Okay, so then 2d8. So 13 damage. And then I'm going to take another shot at that same one. Oh, and 14 to attack.
And you miss on that one.
Okay.
And did you add in that escalation die?
Yes.
Okay. Yep. You miss on that one.
Okay. So 4 damage then.
Okay. Okay. So the Rangers, the bowmen in the back are looking pretty beat up. They're not happy. Then again, the front guys are not the happiest either. But with you take a couple shots and they're starting to sprout some arrows. Okay. Next, we have our pikemen, our gnolls in the front. And they're gonna go after Grug. And they miss.
Ah,
They make an attempt at trying to skewer him, and they go wide. They're not focused enough, and they go wide. So we have our cleric, Nemori.
I go, okay. Had to heal last time. I can hit him this time. Do I need to move, or is this kind of like the melee first ranged thing?
I'd move up just a little bit more.
Boop.
Perfect. Are you gonna swipe at the spear wielding ones in the front?
Yes, and I'm gonna do just a basic melee attack.
Okay.
Okay, so okay, 19.
Okay, so it's a 19 plus you add in as a basic melee +4.
Yeah,
Plus-
I added the +4 and the +2.
Yeah, perfect. So we have a 19 that hits.
2d6
Sweet.
plus 2. Nope, that's not what you're supposed to do. Oh, there. Sorry.
All good.
All right, I get 11 damage.
Okay. Hey, so they're not looking too good either. They're not looking and they're not feeling too good. Between being turned into porcupines and blasted by spells. And your attack with your mace just comes in and it's like you're, giving him a clue by 4 upside the head. Holy smite with your mace. And you get him good up, right upside his side. You think you might actually hear a bit of something break. Okay, the bowman in back, look and they level their crossbows and they're going to be going. They're going to be going for, let's see here, Teniel. They're kind of getting tired of this range stuff happening down out of there, so they're going to go after Teniel. And that is a 21.
that's a hit.
And they do 8 points. Okay. Escalation die goes up. We are now on 3. Rug.
Well, ha ha.
We have the upper hand. I'm gonna do a nice little slash. Oh, 24 again.
That hits.
Hey, I get to do the special thing, and because I got a 1. Where'd the dice go? $13, $14, $15 damage.
Okay, and let's see here. 15. There we go. Okay, so you do 15 and they crumple. Both of the front, they crumple.
We win. Wait, 2 more.
Okay, Teniel.
All right, I'm gonna try another Chaos Bolt. And I rolled a 19 before I add everything, so that hits.
Yep.
And I deal 10 damage.
Okay, Rangers are almost toast. They're on their last legs. Your bolt hits them, and they just convulse a bit, and there's the smell of roasting knoll. Okay, Lev.
Okay, so let me see if I get. Okay, so I do get an extra attack. Let me mark that one off. There's a lot to this ranger. Okay, so I'm gonna hit at one of the. Oh no, I'm not. Okay, once per battle, re-roll one of your missed ranged attacks. I'm gonna do that with that one. Can I do that? That one, or is that just a 1?
No, that works once per
Okay.
battle, and you have not done that, and we're still in a battle.
Okay, I'm going to do that then, because that one was not nice. Okay, so so there's 22
That
to
hits.
hit. Okay.
Yep.
2d plus 4. So 12 damage. And then because I rolled less than the escalation die, I get a second roll, a second attack. And so math 23. Yes, 23.
Okay.
And then another 12 damage.
Okay. The ranged ones drop. You knock an arrow and shoot, and another one, and the gnolls are sprouting a few more arrows. And not only are they spreading a few more arrows, they go down. And fight's over.
Yeah, we won. Party. And everyone's joining the crew.
I look back at Teniel and I say, I think some of us have already partied a little too hard.
I throw up again.
Okay. We're out of initiative order. So feel free to just do some role play now that we are out of initiative order, and You have 4 corpses lying there, 4 gnoll corpses.
I'm gonna go get all of my arrows out of their dead bodies.
See, we work really good as team. All be crew. Go on adventures. But first, we party. After the spoils of victory.
Okay, you're able to get all but one of the arrows. One of them, it's way too lodged, and as you attempt to pull it out, it snaps.
I look to Lev and I say, so Knowles burst on your village? Is there anything particular you want us to do? Do we defile them now? Like chop off their heads or something? Like what do you want?
Well, I don't know if it was these gnolls. I was like 8 years old, and
While
I
they
just
while they discuss this, I see if the gnolls have any pockets for me to rifle through.
Rifle through. They are carrying some stuff.
I also take this moment to telepathically send a message to my brothers and say, done, 15 minutes.
You get this very disgruntled emotion coming back from both.
I try my hardest to emulate the feeling of smugness back to them.
And you get this impression of basically like, I hate you coming back.
I send back a kissy face emoji,
And nothing else.
nothing else.
Okay, so who's rifling through their stuff?
That would be me.
Okay, so you start rifling through. You notice that each of these gnolls carries on them has on them a token or something that has the symbol of the Diabolus. Upon more inspection, it looks like they're part of an organized group. Maybe cultists.
I just scoop up all 4 of the tokens and I kind of shake them in Namori's direction. And I say, hey, could you take a look at this?
Sure. I mean, more of the holy side, but I'll take a look.
You know anything about creepy cults? And I just drop them in Namori's hand.
Is there some kind of check I can do?
Yes, there is. In this case, go ahead and use your dropout priest.
Humana? Or what? Dropout freeze?
Yeah, isn't that one of your backgrounds?
Dropout priest. Sorry, I misheard.
Yes. And let's go wisdom on that.
Wisdom. Okay.
Yeah.
13 plus 4, 17. Guess another 4 is 21.
Okay. Yeah, you got some deets. Especially with the Crusader. Oh. You look down, study the tokens for a while. And sorry, not with the Crusader, but the Diabolist, very much so. They're definitely cultists, that are either working with or have a strong connection with the Diabolist. And there we are. And you know that those who are working for the Diabolist likely are up to no good. There's hell holes scattered throughout the land, and there's a bunch of them, hell holes located up in the wastes, up where pretty much she's placed. And she likes basically wreaking havoc. Chaos and such are totally parts of her thing, and causing chaos, causing havoc and mayhem, making cover for her to release her, the demons out in the world, exactly what she wants. And it looks like these are cultists of the Diabolist, looking to maybe try to cause some havoc and mayhem at the fair, potentially summoning up some demons and sending them into the fair to, terrorize people and kill livestock and whatnot. So yeah, that's what you're able to gather from this.
Okay, so I'd like to relay this to everyone in our party, and then I look at Greg and I say, now see, she's someone you need to look up to. She can get a crew. She has skills you can learn.
Okay. So you're part of my crew now? Yes.
I just turn around and back to everybody else. So, as I was saying, I mean, do y'all think we should go find her? Does anyone have a relationship with her at all?
No.
You may not like me.
What
Just,
do-
it's not important. I didn't do anything. It's not my fault.
You can't offer the information and then not actually offer the information.
Well,
You vomited on my shoes. You owe me.
if there were anyone in particular that was at this fair that you would like to see dead, I would probably be on a list of such names. But gambling, demons doesn't mix. I'll leave it at that. Like you've never bet your soul before.
No. Look, I may be a priest, but no. I dropped out for a reason.
Okay. Do you continue to fish through the remains?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Within the remains, they carry some light packs of stuff. And digging through that, there's a lot of stuff you're like, what the But you do find a few things that are like, okay, this could be interesting. You find a few items. One of the front spear guys had tucked under, like, a wrapped up in some stuff, a shield. This particular shield, the sizable kite shield, looks like he might have wanted to use it if he ever got into melee combat without the spear, like the spear busted, but obviously didn't reach that point. This particular stout kite shield bears a likeness of the great gold worm in bright embossed gold, one that once belonged to one of the thousand mighty paladins who traversed the abyss to fight beside the gold worm. Only 97 of them, however, were said to return from that journey still bearing their shields. He's carrying a shield. There is another that has balled up at the bottom of some pack this cloak, this like of elven make, often called a forest fold cloak. Said to be sewn by the handmaidens of the Elf Queen, and holds the memory of her forest court within its threads. There is a ranged weapon called Haughty. There are only two types of these weapons that have been known to be created. Those that are designed for the Imperial soldiers against the creatures of the wild, and those designed for the servants of the wild against the agents of the Empire. In either case, these weapons are highly effective at taking down enemy leaders. And there's this odd symbol. It has different precious gemstones forming each of its three prongs. Magic power clearly emanates from it. But the symbol is really hard to look at for any length of time without a strange repetitive image forming in your mind. There's 4 items scattered amongst them that you happen to find.
I lay them all out after emptying the packs, and I just sort of relay what I happen to have noticed or guessed about these objects to the rest of the group. Basically, the same information that we were just told, and then I scoop up the symbol, and I kind of like hold it up, and then I cover my good eye. I uncover my good eye, and then I just kind of looking at it.
Okay. It's clearly magic. Having a hold of it, you find yourself kind of ending up with a bit more of a one-track mind. And one of these things that's interesting with magic items in 13th Age is that each magic item has a quirk. And the quirk for this symbol of gathered power is that it has a one-track mind.
So anything in particular that my mind gets on track on?
That's your choice.
Okay.
That's all up to you to play out how it affects your character, how it manifests itself through your character. That's up to you and how you decide to play that one out.
Okay.
Scattered about through the packs as well, you also find 75 gold.
Remind me of the things that are about in front of us. I know we have the cloak.
Right, there's the cloak, the shield, that symbol with the gems, and a ranged weapon like a throwing axe or throwing knife.
I am going to pick up the shield. And I think this one's calling my name.
Okay. The shield of protection. Its quirk tends to others with too much familiarity.
Nothing has changed with this character.
No, it just becomes a bit more intense.
Yeah.
I would like to pick up the cloak.
Okay, so you pick up the cloak and kind of shake it out and hold it. You find yourself definitely, its quirk is prefers the finer things in life. Of course, they are elven.
So totally the opposite of my character. It's going to be interesting.
And that leaves the symbol of gathered power, which I believe are one-eyed bandit has claimed. And that leaves the thrown weapon or the ranged weapon. And its quirk challenges others to improvised contests.
I'll take that.
So are we gonna go get this lady that's sending all these demons? Do you want some revenge on her, Tennille?
You need some backup?
Now,
Yay, we're a crew.
now keep in mind the icons are really, really powerful. If this were, for example, Lord of the Rings, people like Galadriel and Elrond, those would be icons. These are very powerful individuals who have a profound effect on the world. So going after the Diabolus, I mean, you could try, but chances are you get too close to her lair where her seat of power, and you're probably gonna, particularly right now, you're gonna go squish. That doesn't mean that you can't plot revenge against the Diabolist and their minions. But the Diabolist is one of the icons.
Yeah, oh, sorry. You first, Namori. I immediately jump on the idea of us banding together against the Diabolus minions because I would love to have 3 warm bodies between me and her. So I just, yeah, part of the crew now, huh?
So I, in hearing that Tennille would like to go forward with this, clasped her right on the back and say, "Great, you're our leader now, Captain."
Improvised contest. Whoever wins is captain.
I'll flip you for it.
Deal.
Okay, are you wanting to stay out here, or do you want to head back in toward the fair?
Should we try and find the source of where these gnolls were coming from? Maybe like a gnoll's nest?
You could. A heads up, we have about 5 minutes left.
All right. Well, before we go anywhere, I go ahead and get out a coin to flip Grug, and I do attempt to cheat, having much practice at flipping coins and trying to get them to land the way that I want. And
Okay.
I am going to attempt to cheat to make a Grug win.
Okay.
I can already tell that Namori hopes I fail.
Absolutely. Can I, since I have a past of like being a thief and a smuggler, can I notice like this shady shit going down, since I'm clearly have had to deal with it before, and try and like knock her shoulder as she tries to do whatever trick she does?
Roll for me. Oh goodness, what am I gonna make for last interesting 5 minutes? Let's see here. You can try. Go ahead. Let's roll on your using wisdom. And which background were you thinking of?
The thief one.
Thief one? Yeah. Okay. Yep.
So that'd be a +4. So 19 total.
Okay. That will have that as a succeed. That, yeah, you're able to get around without them noticing.
All right.
That
Greg, do you want to, since my cheating fails thanks to Namori's efforts, would you like to roll a d6 for us? And on an evens, Grug wins and is leader, and on a odds, Tennille wins and is leader.
Ah. It's odd.
Oh,
I again clasped her on the shoulder and said, "Lead on, Captain."
and on that sadly triumphant note,
Okay, and with that, we have our captain and the crew that are going to be going off. And that is 13th Age. Thank you, Captain Teniel.
I wanted a contest.
well, thank you for running it, and thank everybody.
Yeah.
Thank you
Yes.
for allowing me to guest GM 13th Age for you.
Oh, it was a lot of fun. I like the
So- What was the fail forward? Did we do that?
There was some of that. For example, with the fail forward, when we were doing, say, the archery, and you missed, rather than it just being you didn't do anything, you hit some, it just wasn't quite as good. It's there's a failure, but things are a bit more interesting, and it's not just, yep, I fail, and there you go. You might trip, but maybe as you're tripping, you do something that might help somebody else, or it might make things a bit more interesting. It's a way to keep the story more interesting and not just have it as a, well, I screwed up, therefore.
Cool.
There we go. And this was a lot of fun to run for you all.
Yeah, I like the concept of the unique thing for each character and how the backstory like affects your roles.
Mhm.
It was like kind of constant throughout.
I really like 13th Age because I think it puts a bit more emphasis on the character and on the characterization, and on less on the stats and on the numbers game, and more on the storytelling and making more of this collaborative story amongst everyone and everything. One of the things we really didn't have a chance to get into, and it's really hard to do in a one shot, is your icon relationships. In a long-term campaign, those would come into play quite a bit more and would affect things like potentially outcomes and how people perceived you, or how news and rumors might be spread, or what might be said about you. It's really hard to do with a one shot. But in a campaign type game, there's a lot more that you can do, and that can come in, and that can have a much more profound effect on how things play out and how you're perceived by NPCs.
Huh. No, that's cool. Oh yeah, that's actually one of the things I kind of learned throughout this whole process, that collaborative storytelling. I really enjoy it. Where like, because I felt like D&D always had that like DM versus players mentality, where like, I don't know, I don't like it. It's like you're all there to like tell a story.
Mm-hmm. I think D&D gets saddled with that a lot, but I think that games like this can help break that. I think D&D, especially D&D, 5th Ed D&D, does really good at bringing more of the storytelling elements again, but a lot of it also depends on the GM.
Yeah.
And how the GM weaves stuff and tries to work story in there and explain stuff and works with the players to tell this tale. If this had been a much longer game, like a proper campaign, one of the things I do as a GM is I actually ask my players to submit a few things on a background on their character story to give me some basically plot hooks I can weave into the plot, so I can pull in maybe an NPC from their past, or there's this thing they're trying to resolve, and that becomes a side plot for them or a personal plot story for them.
Yeah, because I think I'm actually going to implement my next like well, I guess whenever I find a group, my next session 0, I want to like plan out the character's backstory with them, like weave it into the world kind of deal.
Mhm. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And there's a really good way to do that. When you build out your setting for your game, or you find a setting, it should be like Swiss cheese. There should be holes left in there. Should be things that are unresolved or unexplained that the player can take from that history and can weave their character stuff into there. And in return, they should leave some holes where you can weave some fun stuff in. So it's like, weaving a tapestry as threads come and crisscross and blend into this rich piece.
Oh yeah. No. Yeah, that's the one thing I've been missing is a good storytelling. Which was nice because I got to do a creative writing class last term.
Fun.
So much fun. Yes.
Cool.
Geek Therapeutics thanks you for taking the time to watch our content. We are the gold standard in teaching professionals and families about geek therapy and are accredited by APA, ACE, and NBCC for continuing educational content. Check out one of our classes online or grab a subscription to all of our courses at geektherapeutics.com. You can also become a therapeutic game master by taking our 9-week intensive course at www.therapeuticgamemaster.com. That's www.therapeuticgamemaster.com.